You ever feel like growing your business has to be complicated? Funnels, content, launches, all of it. Yeah, it doesn't. What if scaling could be simple, like the kind of simple that frees up your time and multiplies your income? Well, in this episode, I'm going to show you how to grow and scale your business the easy way. This is the way I've learned after over 10,000 hours of real experience. So if you've been working hard, but not seeing the growth you want, this one's for you, my friend. So before we get into what I think are 5 strategies you need to be able to scale and grow faster and easier based off of me doing this for over 16 years, I've counted up probably 16 to 20,000 hours of experience, which is actually low considering I've worked for so many years on this business, but I don't work full time in my business. I just a handful of hours a week. But just take it from me. This is what works. I'm going to get through 5 strategies today for you. But before we get into any of the strategies, you're not going to be able to implement any of them if you don't believe something fundamental about business and life, something that I need to break off of many of you because of the way we've been programmed in our society. We have been led to believe that hard work leads to results. Now, don't mishear me. Hard work is a good thing. It is a noble thing. I was just reading in the book of Proverbs today that in all work there is profit, or hard work leads to profit, but mere talk only leads to poverty. So talking about all the things you're going to do won't actually make you money. Work will make you money. So I have nothing against hard work. The problem is we have been taught that hard work leads to success. And the implied message, maybe sometimes actually spoken out very clearly and intentionally, is that if you want more results, just put in more work, as if it's a very simple equation. Work in equals results out. So if I'm working 50% of my capacity and I'm getting this result in my business, imagine if I worked to 100% capacity, I would get double the results. Or in modern sort of entrepreneurial language, if I'm getting $100,000 a year working 40 hours a week, imagine what would happen if I worked 60 hours a week. That's 50% more. I should probably make 50% more money, therefore $150,000. And that sounds kind of basic and maybe even silly to you, but that is how you have been programmed to think. The people working the hardest should be rewarded the most. That doesn't actually make sense, because hard work isn't something that we should blindly reward, because there's a lot of people doing a lot of hard work that's not wise or strategic. If I had someone, let's just put it for you. Let's say you have a team member on your team, an employee or contractor. You pay this person to do a job, and they are so hardworking on the wrong strategy. Are you going to give them a raise because they keep working hard and work harder than anybody else on the wrong strategy? No, you don't want to reward effort. You want to reward results, and you should want to be rewarded for results, not for your effort. I know this is hard to break off of somebody because we come from a world where in school we're rewarded for hard work. In most 9-to-5 jobs, you are rewarded for hard work. The salespeople, if you had a sales job, you understand this. You don't have this problem. You are rewarded for your results, the amount of deals you closed, right? Your salary, or really your income, is tied to a commission on whatever you sold. So salespeople become entrepreneurs a lot easier than typical salaried or hourly employees do, because they have a much more accurate relationship with success. You should be rewarded for your results, not for the amount of hours you work or how hard you work in those hours, because that's what leads to lazy people wanting to get paid more just because they showed up at the office or because they did what they were told. That's what the school system gives us. So I had to start there, because if you don't believe that hard work shouldn't lead to results or shouldn't lead to rewards, you're not going to like what I have to say, or it's just not going to resonate with you, or you're not going to get it. But if you're willing to believe something different, that the people that make the most money and have the most success aren't the hardest working, because think about it. To become a billionaire, you can't just work more hours or work harder. There's a limit to how many hours you can work, how hard you can work in those hours, right? How good you can be at the job. Those can't be the deciding factors, right? There have to be other tools, other strategies to grow. Does this make sense? Okay, have to start there, and I'm going to move on. And I'm going to hope that you're going to come along the journey with me, because what I want to share with you today are 5 simple but profound strategies and plays you can run to be able to grow bigger and faster and easier than you've ever grown before, okay? And it has nothing to do with working more hours. In fact, if you are doing it right and you implement these 5 things, you will work less and less, fewer and fewer hours as you go. That is, but my story has been going from a full work week, for me, was 32 hours a week. I've never worked Fridays in my business. I've only ever worked 4 days a week max. From that all the way down to between 5 and 10 hours a week now, and doing $3-4 million a year right now as of this taping. So take it from me. It is possible. Let's run with it. Strategy number 1, and this might sound counterintuitive or irrelevant, but if you miss this, it's going to make your business growth journey a lot harder, is speak to one person with one message. Speak to one person with one message. What do I mean? I mean, the number one most important question you have to answer in business, period, is who, followed by what. But the what is informed by the who. Who are you going to serve in this business? You get to choose. But not only do you get to choose, you must choose. You cannot be for everyone. You cannot speak to everyone. Now, I have nothing against everyone buying your products or services or offers. That's great. But I'm saying you have to decide who you're going to speak to. And I choose the word speak intentionally because branding is messaging, and messaging involves words. It involves language. Now, you can say words without saying words. You can put up a picture, but it's still communicating in words. So for your brand to grow, like let's just say it this way. I get to coach clients all over the world, almost every single day. I don't work every day, but every day I'm working, I get to coach clients. And whether they are private clients or they are in my accelerator or they're in my inner circle or they come to my challenge and I'm doing VIP coaching calls, I get a cool perspective. And what I hate is an entrepreneur who is busting his or her butt and they are plateaued and they are stuck. And when I start to ask questions, I find out one of the biggest reasons why is this. They are unclear on the who. When I ask them, who do you serve and what do you help them do? Well. So they start to talk about all kinds of people. And I almost want to like reach through the screen and put my finger over their lips and shh, just like smush their little lips like, hey, shh, silence. The answer is no. The answer is no. You can't be serving all those people. Yes, you can, but you can't be speaking to all those people. You have to choose one person. Choose one person to serve. I say it this way. When you serve one type of client, serving them all becomes simple. Why is that? Well, because now you have an avatar. Now you have a person in mind, a type of person, a representation of your ideal client in mind. Now we can start to talk about their actual problem. Instead of all the possible problems anybody might have, one problem. Your business needs to own one problem and own it well. And then we got to own the pain points of that problem. Because this person has this problem, they are dealing with these 3 to 5 pain points, okay? For example, my one person is the entrepreneur who has ideally already started a business and realized they've hit a plateau and they're stuck. I speak to that type of person and they don't know what to do. And their problem is they can't grow any bigger without putting in more work. And they don't want to work more because they want to own their time. So they are stuck financially in their business. They're capped. That's their overarching problem. But the pain points are numerous. One is they don't get to live the lifestyle they want to live. Maybe they don't get to live in the neighborhood they want to live. They don't get to drive the car they want to drive. They don't get to fly in the area of the airplane. They want to sit on the area of the airplane. They want to sit in the front of the airplane. But it also might mean one of the pain points is they have to miss out on family dinners or breakfast with their kids or being able to take their kids to school or vacations. When's the last time they've taken a vacation? One of the pain points is lack of peace. They are stressed out. They are anxious. They're trying all the different things that the internet tells them to try, and it's not working. And they're unclear as to what they should be focusing on. So every day they come in their office and they feel just this sense of huge overwhelm. It's like this giant monkey on their back weighing them down. Like, do you see what I'm doing here? I'm talking about the pains of that person. They know they're meant for more. They know they can do more in their business. They don't want to be the biggest business in the world. That's not what they're worried about. They just want to reach their potential. They want to pay off their student loans. They want to pay off their home. They want to put their kids through college. They want to work less and make more. So that gets to the second part of it, which is once you know your person, you know their main problem. What is their main dream? What is the main outcome they want? One dream, one main outcome, one main payoff. For my clients, I've got clarity around it, and this is what I help them do, is help them make $100,000 a month in their business, working 20 hours a week or less. That's their dream. But really, their dream is bigger than that. The payoffs of that dream coming true are numerous. Well, they can live an incredible lifestyle, fill in the blank, whatever that means to them financially. There's no money stress. They have time for their family, for their health, for their self-care, for their friends, for their hobbies, for their church, for their community. They love what they get to do every week, every day. They're proud of the business they've built. They have something worth more than profit, and that is peace. They don't have stress in their life. They're going to live longer because they don't stress. There's no cortisol like spiking through their bodies, right? These are all payoffs. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm speaking about one type of person. Now, do I only sell to people who are already successful in business but plateaued? No. I sell high-ticket offers, by the way, to beginners, people who haven't started their business yet. Why? Because they see themselves in that person. This is so powerful. When you speak to one person, you do not alienate all the other people. You create the one story with which they can see themselves in, and your ideal person will see themselves in that story immediately. But the secondary people who also could benefit from your offers see themselves in that story as well, because they want to be there and they can imagine themselves, even with that problem, they can imagine themselves starting their business and getting stuck. And they now know that you are the guy or the girl that can get them past that problem they haven't even reached yet. Is this making sense? So, one person and one message. One message. If you had to sum up everything you teach and share and coach into one signature talk, into one book, into one single epic YouTube video, what would the title of that be? Or what would the main promise of that signature talk, book, one singular YouTube video be? Like, if you could only leave one video on the internet for your ideal client, if you could only write one book for your ideal client, if you could only give one 45-minute keynote for your ideal client, what would the main one sentence message of that be? That's hard, right? Have you ever thought about this stuff? I mean, I'm asking for reals. Have you ever thought about this stuff? Sorry, there's a bug flying around. You ever thought about what your one message is? Or are you just speaking to a bajillion different people with a bajillion different messages? Do you see how this could dilute your marketing? Do you see how this could make it hard for people to do business with you? It's not that you're unattractive to them or that you're repelling people. It's that you get lost. You disappear. That's the kiss of death in growth. The one way to guarantee you do not grow and scale your business is to look and sound like nothing. Blah. If you are for everyone and you're talking about everything, you are for no one and you are about nothing. You need to choose one person to speak to, and that will inform the message. Okay? So, all of my content, although I talk about many different related things, at the end of the day, if you were to sum up who I'm speaking to, it is the entrepreneur who wants to have an effortless business. My new book that's coming out soon is called The Effortless Business: How to Build a High-Income, Low-Maintenance Business and Life. That is what I am all about. My message is clear, is that you can earn more by working less. Everything I talk about, everything I teach, everything I write, everything I coach on surrounds this idea of less is more in business. It informs the way I coach my clients with their offers. It informs how I set up the selling mechanisms and selling environments, how we design their dream week. Like everything is around this make more, work less brand. Because that's what the message of my life is for entrepreneurs, and the message of this company is for entrepreneurs. Do you see that? So there's a lot of ways to say it. I'm saying it in books. I'm saying it in keynotes. I say it every week here on the show. One person, one message. When you get insanely clear on the person you're speaking to and the message of your brand, watch what happens to your YouTube channel. Watch what happens to your signups on your webinars and your challenge. Watch what happens to your book sales. Watch what happens to people who are applying for coaching. Watch what happens to your webinar conversion rates. All of a sudden, people now know in the 3 seconds they give you, if they stumble across you on the internet, who you're for and what you help them do. And that way they can make an informed decision whether to go deeper with you or not. If you're all over the place, it's really hard to know if I should go deeper with you, right? So there are going to be people who are she's the sales guru, or he's the selling from stage guru, or he's the meta ads person, or Graham's the make more, work less person, the 5-hour work week person, like whatever. You see how you give people a category to put your brand in when you're that clear? It's funny, as a musician, I was coaching musicians in my first business. And one of the things I would always find is when I'd ask them, who do you sound like? When I'm asking them about their music, who do you sound like? And they would say, oh, nobody. We're so original. We don't sound like anybody. I would say, ooh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that if you really want to grow a fan base and actually make a living with your music. You can't say you don't sound like anybody. It's the kiss of death for a musician. You have to tell people what your band or your music sounds like. And by tell them, I mean you have to give them other bands or artists' names. Oh, well, if you like Metallica and, blah, blah, blah. I mean, just list a few bands. Or if you like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Nirvana, you're going to love my band. That is not a sellout. And that is not selling yourself short. That is giving people context to put you in. That is giving people a category to put you in so they can know whether they like you or not. This is so important in business. You have to give people context for who you are and who you help serve and what you help them do so they can label you. I know we don't like labels. Labels are very important. Labels are powerful because we don't have time as busy people to figure out who you are. You got to tell us who you are by giving yourself a label that we can understand. Does this make sense? I spend a lot of time on this because this is the one that's underused, skipped over, nobody thinks about. But when you get clear on this, everything else about your business growth journey becomes easier. I promise you, making content, writing sales copy, creating ads, designing an event, creating an offer, coaching your clients, you'll get more confidence too because you have so much more clarity about who you're serving, what your brand's all about. So speak to one person with one message. We're going to fly through these other 4 a lot faster. Okay, number 2 to scale faster and easier is leverage evergreen marketing. So what most people are doing is using non-leveraged channels of marketing, meaning they're taking their phone and they are talking to the camera on their phone and they're going on TikTok or on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube Shorts. And they're just like throwing these little micro pieces of content out. And not only it's longer than that because then they're trying to come up with a viral hook at the beginning. They're testing hooks. They're editing the reel together and they're trying to find the right music for it. And then what's going to be the text that goes over it? Guys, this is one of the biggest wastes of your time. This is one of the least leveraged activities you have at your disposal. And I'm not saying that being on social media is a giant waste of time. I mean, I'm getting close to saying that. If you like it and if it's working for you, great. I'm just saying I've been doing this for 16 years. I've seen it all. And that is one of the least leveraged marketing channels you have. Meaning it's not a lot of bang for your buck. So how do you grow bigger while working less? Don't do that. Here's what you do. YouTube, long form video content on YouTube for the love. This is the greatest gift entrepreneurs have right now. I don't care what you sell, who you sell to, you need to be on YouTube, long form video content. Meaning 15 to 45 minute videos This can be a video podcast like what I do now. It can be just 15 to 25-minute videos. You don't have to have the podcast audio side of it. It doesn't really matter. But why video, long form, and why YouTube? I've said it for years, but it's only proving more and more true. YouTube is so much more powerful than social media. YouTube is a search engine, number one. It is the second largest search engine in the world next to Google. YouTube is also what ChatGPT and other AI tools like Claude and all these other tools are scrolling and scrubbing for content. When people are starting to type into chat questions that they want answered, where is chat getting that information? The internet. And where is it pulling largely from? YouTube. Like blog posts and YouTube. Like if you want to show up in chat results, put out content on YouTube that is very hyper-focused on the one person with the one message. You see how this ties together? Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's almost like I thought about this before I hit record. Okay, so YouTube is how people are going to discover you. It is the largest, most powerful, most democratized and fair discoverability engine on the planet. And all you have to do is show up consistently on YouTube, speak to the one person about the one core message over and over again, talk about their problem, their pain points, their dream, their payoffs that they want, and everything in between, and you will be rewarded. You'll be rewarded. Sean Cannell from Think Media said it best that every YouTube video you put out is like an employee that works for you 24/7. Never gets sick, never takes vacation, never takes maternity or paternity leave, and never wants to get paid. And that little employee is selling for you all the time and says everything you want him or her to say and nothing you don't want him or her to say. And what that means for you is you can do a video like today, friend, I have videos that I made 7, 8 years ago that are getting me leads and customers right now, while I'm filming another video. They were also doing that for me while I was sleeping earlier. They were also doing that for me while I was at the gym earlier. They were also doing that while I was taking my daughter to school earlier. They were also selling for me while I was sitting on my sofa reading my Bible and journaling earlier, while I was getting some coffee and looking at the new condo they're building down here in Tampa. Like when I'm not working, YouTube is allowing people to discover me, is brainwashing them and indoctrinating them into the way I think about things. So they can go, oh, I like this or I don't. But if they like it, they're like, I want more of it. It's inviting them to my next thing, my webinar or my challenge, or join my email list, or sign up for Graham AI or whatever. It's inviting people into my world. It's doing all the heavy lifting for me. It is so glorious. The only reason I've been able to generate close to $20 million on the internet right now is because of YouTube working for me 24/7. And it's the only way I've been able to generate $20 million working 5 hours a week on average. Like there's no other universe in which that happens because of all of those videos getting me in front of people and bringing them into my world. And you do not have to blow up on YouTube. I'm not talking about becoming famous or going viral. I'm talking about simple videos that have 500, 1,000, 2,000 views that are attracting your ideal client. I call these client magnets, and YouTube is one of the most powerful client magnets. So leverage evergreen marketing like YouTube, where you do it once, it serves you forever. Another slightly less leveraged version of that is paid ads. So meta ads, think Facebook, Instagram. These are evergreen as well because you can film or record the video or the text ad or picture ad, whatever. You can create the ad creative, as they call it, once. And then if you're feeding dollars behind it, you can get in front of all kinds of people 24/7. Ads are super powerful. And this year I've been able to start experimenting with them more now that I'm at a place in my business where it makes more sense and I have a model and a funnel that's pays for the ads. I mean, it makes sense for me in this season of my business, but if you do run ads and it makes sense for you, this is way more leveraged. I would rather you run ads on Instagram than post on Instagram because you're going to reach more people, more targeted people, and you're going to be able to get them into your world, take them into the next step, a free, masterclass or a webinar, or invite them to your challenge, whatever it is. So I like ads. They're not as leveraged or evergreen as YouTube because they require constant changing and they require dollars, whereas YouTube is infinite. It doesn't cost me any money. So there's no limit to the reach and there's no resources needed. So the ROI is infinite. The ROI on ads can be high. It's just not infinite because it requires money. And then people see the same ads over and over again and you got to change it up. But YouTube plus ads, bro, game over. Like, I'd rather you spend your time and resources and effort there than posting to social media. That was number 2. Number 3, sell one to many. Okay, I'm not opposed to sales calls, one-on-one discovery calls. Like, there is a time and a place for that, but the way to scale your business faster and the way to sell more to more people faster and easier is to stop selling one-to-one and start selling one to many. Meaning, it's exactly like it sounds like, you are making an offer to many people at the same time instead of one person at a time. So there's a lot of ways to do this. Number 1 is in-person events. You host an event in your city, or you're speaking at an event, and you teach and you speak, and then you make an offer to the 100 people in the room, the 500 people in the room, the 1,000 people in the room, right? That's the traditional way you would do it. Now, thanks to the internet, you don't have to leave your house to do this. You can host a virtual event. A virtual event might be a webinar, or it might be a paid masterclass, or it might be a paid challenge, right? Or it might be a summit. It doesn't matter the format. They have the pros and their cons, their benefits, but the point is you invite many people into an experience, you serve them powerfully, and then you make an offer to those people, one to many, and then you convert a percentage of those people. So for example, if you jumped on a one-on-one sales call, you might have a 50% close rate if you're good, let's say. And so let's say you have 10 calls in a week. That's potentially 10 hours of your week. And maybe if you're lucky, you make 5 sales. And maybe your thing is a $5,000 thing. So you sell 5 of your $5,000 thing in a week. That's a great week. That's $25,000 that week. If you do that every week, you're doing $100K a week. Or excuse me, $100K a month, which is $1.2 million a year, which is a great life. And I think that is a gold standard of an incredible life and legacy. But it requires 10 hours a week of sales calls, which means you need to continue to fill 10 discovery calls. Then you need to be able to do them, and you need to be closing at 50% for a 5K offer. Let's say instead you decide to host a monthly challenge. And for 1 week out of the month, you spend the same 10 hours, 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Let's say you have a VIP and you've got general admission. So it's 2 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Tuesday, all the way through Friday. You spend 10 hours 1 week instead of 10 hours every week. And let's say between your YouTube and ads, you fill it with 200 people in the challenge. And you convert 10% of those people to your 5K offer. Well, now you make $100,000 that week in the challenge, which was the same $100,000 you made in the previous model of doing one-on-one, only it's 1/4 the effort. You get back 3 weeks of your month. You get back 30 hours of your month. And you only have to make the presentation once, the offer once, instead of 40 times. Yes, you close a smaller percentage because it's not one-to-one, but you make the same amount of money in 25% of the time. This is the power of selling one to many. And that's just assuming you only get 200 people in your challenge. What if you get 400 people in your challenge? Then you make even more than the 100. My whole point is, and let's just say you don't want to do a $5,000 offer. Make it a $10,000 offer. Like, there's so many things you can do here. But my point is selling one to many in a challenge, on the end of a webinar, in a summit, in a paid masterclass where people come for a few hours in a day. Like, there's so many ways to use virtual events to sell your offers. But those aren't the only way to sell one to many. You can also sell one to many through email marketing. You actually don't need to speak to a person or even present an offer in real time to close an offer, even a high ticket offer, right? You can leverage email marketing to invite people into an offer. Maybe there's a VSL, which is a video sales letter. So think about a 10 to 15 minute video on a page that speaks to a pain point, an outcome that they want, a payoff that they want, filters people to know if this is for them or not, and makes them an offer. Maybe there's an application to the offer. Maybe they have to go to a webinar that's an auto webinar after that. It doesn't really matter, but you can use email to get people to the next step to convert into your 5K offer, and you don't even have to be involved in any of it. You can literally run evergreen marketing, selling one to many to the people that are already in your world. So you've leveraged YouTube and ads to get people into your world. Now with your emails, you can follow up and close deals or follow up and get people to the webinar that will close the deal for them. Auto webinars is a one-to-many presentation, virtual, pre-recorded, paired with email marketing, which is now taking all of these powerful concepts of selling one-to-many and evergreen marketing and packaging them into one. Now you can see how you can have automation and already done work selling for you in the background, so you don't have to do one-on-one sales calls. My whole point is, if you're not selling one-to-many, what are you doing? Find a way that you can sell one-to-many that you like, and maybe it's multiple methods, and take advantage of the better use of your time. I don't do one-to-one sales. I do one-to-many sales, and that's how I'm able to scale while working less. Number 3, and we've talked about this before, and I will continue to talk about it again until the message is clear. Charge more. This is the fastest, easiest way to scale, period. Charge more. You are undercharging. I'm 95% sure that you're undercharging for what you're selling. You don't sell information. You sell transformation. You sell outcomes. You sell payoffs. You sell results. And if you make the offer about the payoff and about the result you give and about the transformation and about the outcome that the offer gives, and only about that, then you anchor that result to the true value of it, you can charge more. You need to be charging a premium for what you do. It'll set you apart. It'll make people find you more attractive. You'll actually increase your conversion rate, not decrease it, because people are going to be like, wow, she's legit if she's charging this much. But it's also the fastest way to grow. Instead of needing a sale here, sale here, sale here, sale there, one high-ticket sale every single week can change your business. Think about this. If you had a $10,000 offer, instead of selling for $50 a month or a $400 course, if you had a $10,000 coaching program, let's say, and that was your main offer, you sell one of those puppies a week, you're doing $40K a month. That's $480,000 a year. Really, it's going to be around $500,000 a year if you spread it out over all 52 weeks. $500,000. Most doctors and lawyers in America don't make $500,000 a year. You could make $500,000 a year selling one offer a week if you had a $10,000 offer that was irresistible. It's as simple as that. And to me, this is the fastest and easiest way to grow and the most important way to focus. That is why I have an entire event, a 5-day coaching experience designed around how to help you do that. It's called my 10K Offer Challenge. I'm going to link to it below in the description and the show notes, but you can go to 10kofferchallenge.com, sign up for the next one that's happening. The dates are there for the next one. I do this live. It's 5 days of coaching with me. And all I'm doing is helping you craft an irresistible high-ticket offer for $10,000. And you can pick a different price. If you don't want to do 10, you can do 15, 20, you can do 5, you can do 8. The point is, I'm going to show you what makes a high ticket offer irresistible and sell almost effortlessly. Like they are begging you to sell it to them. And the only question is where they're going to get the money. And they're going to find the money because they want it so bad. That's what will help you build in 5 days. This is perfect for beginners if you're just starting your business because it's the fastest way to grow. And this is perfect for you. If you're stuck, it's probably because you don't have an irresistible high ticket offer. Let's fix that in 5 days, live with me, and I'll coach you in your business. So go to 10kofferchallenge.com. I'm linking to it below as well. That'll solve so much of your business problems, and that'll help you scale faster. I'm not going to go into any more depth there because I've covered it a lot, but this is the lever you need to be pulling. Most are afraid to pull. We'll get you unafraid of it. You're going to be so hungry for it that at the end of the 5 days, you're going to already have your $10,000 offer and you're going to be so freaking pumped about it. And a lot of you will have already sold one by Friday. That's how crazy powerful this challenge is. Come to it. Let's fix that. So charge more. I was making $1 million a year selling $300, $200, $100 courses. But it worked because I had such great lead flow. I had so many leads coming in because of my leveraged evergreen marketing. And because of my selling one-to-many on auto webinars and email marketing, I was able to close hundreds of these courses every single week. So it works, but it's getting harder and harder with low-ticket offers. So the moment I started adding $3,000 offers, $5,000 offers, and this was in the music space, mind you, to hobbyists. Now in the business space, I have $25,000 offers, $55,000 offers, $100,000 offers, $250,000 offers. It's so much easier. You don't need to sell that many, right? You don't need to sell that many. Like I just had another 6-figure weekend. Like you don't need to sell that many when you have high ticket offers. Like imagine having a 6-figure weekend. How would that change your business? When you charge more, this is your future. So that's a huge part of scaling. And trust me, I've been doing this for 16 years. I'm not going back to low ticket because I've just seen the power of high ticket. And number 5 way to scale your business, the easy way, and this is coming from over 16,000 hours of experience, right? Because I've been doing it for 16 years, is play the long game. Play the friggin' long game. So many people want to jump in and out of this thing, or they're committed for a year at best, and then they give up, or they put out videos for 6 months. They were so excited. They read a book, they watched a course, they came to an event, they started their business, and then they wonder why they haven't grown, or they wonder why they haven't hit the stratospheric success that they long for. Everyone's business journey is different. I can't predict anyone's business journey in terms of when it'll pop, but I have seen this. If you jump out of the game too soon, you never get to momentum. And momentum comes the longer you're in the game. For some people, it comes after a year. For some people, after 2 years. For some people, after 5. The point is, this is a game that you only win by staying in it long enough. Why? Because, number 1, you're not good yet. You're not good at anything yet. You're not good at sales. You're not good at offer creation. You're not good at marketing. You're not good at speaking from stage, virtually or in person. You're not good at coaching. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm sure you're good at a lot of those things. But let's be humble for a second. I don't think I'm good at any of those things. Why? Because I've seen the masters and I know I can get better. So I'm good enough. I'm good enough to make millions of dollars, but I could be a heck of a lot better. That gets me excited. Because that means there's so much more for me in the future because I can get better. You can get better. So when you start, you're not great at any of those things. How do you expect to get great at any of those things? Reps, baby. And not only reps, but failures, bad launches, bad webinars, screw-ups, things didn't go right. That's how you learn. And as you learn, you go, oh, don't do that again. Oh, that really worked. Maybe we should do more of that. Right? How did I learn this stuff? Experience. And the longer you're in the game, the better you get at coming up with better questions to ask coaches and mentors, because mentorship and coaching is the cheat code. It's the shortcut. But if you invest in a good coach or a mentor, like I'll be honest, I am not cheap because I think I'm world-class at what I do. And I know I can help my clients shortcut the process and make millions extra faster. That's worth it. But here's the caveat. If they don't have good questions to ask, if they haven't had some bad experiences to know what questions they should be asking, they won't be able to fully squeeze the juice out of the lemon if you're tracking with me. There's so much more available to you when you have better questions, and you get better questions over time, right? The more experience you have, the better your questions are because they become more nuanced. They're not like, how can I make more money faster? That's a dumb question, right? A better question would be, how do I get my conversion rate from my webinar up from 8% to 12% or up from this to that? You see what I'm saying? When should I start to transition to the pitch? At what point should I make that transition? What's the opening line of my webinar should be to ensure people keep watching so I have a higher likelihood of them being around for the pitch? These are better questions. And you get those better questions by staying in the game long enough. Now, here's the other benefit. When you play the long game, you instead of thinking, this better work now, because when you say it better work now, you're putting a lot of pressure on the things you're doing now, which is going to lead you to do stuff that is short-term thinking and short-sighted, which might make you money in the short term, but it will definitely hurt your business and your reputation long-term. When you are already committed to saying, I'm going to do this for the next 10 years, well, then now that takes a lot of pressure off, so you have time to get it right, figure it out, and there's no rush. There really is no rush. Now, you don't want to go slow just because you like slow. I like fast, but I don't want to do stupid stuff. I want to grow the right way. I want to build a sustainable business, not just a quick cash flow business where I flame out just as quickly as I burned up. So playing the long game mentally, giving yourself, I got the next 10 years to get really good at this, changes the way you think about it. and it changes the way you're committed to it. It enhances your commitment because you're not going to just dip in and dip out. And it's going to change the way you invest in yourself, both with your time and your money and resources. So the winners are the ones that play the long game. Like, questions you need to be asking right now are like, how is AI going to disrupt the online coaching space? And if I'm going to be in this game for the next 10 years, well, a lot's going to change. A lot has already changed, right? So instead of thinking, how can I profit off of AI right now real quickly, think about how can I profit off of this AI world that we're in over the next decade? How can I position myself to become irresistible and irreplaceable in the market when a lot of people are going to disappear because of AI? So that's playing the long game too in your current season. And if you're watching this years later and AI is not the thing and it's something else, you're going to want to think even more long-term about what is going to be necessary for me to be winning in 10 years. And it just changes the conversation. This may not seem like a growth hack, but I'm telling you, the biggest companies in the world that have grown the easiest are the ones that are thinking the longest. They're not short-sighted, they're thinking the longest. And that's what you need to do. I'm still in business. I've been in business 16 years. So many people have come and gone. With both of my brands, I've done these 5 things. I've spoken to one person with one message. I've leveraged evergreen marketing. I've leveraged selling one to many. I've charged more. And I play the long game. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not trying to get quick money. I'm trying to get consistent money. I want to get paid every day, every month, no matter how hard or how little I'm working, whether I'm on vacation in Europe for 3 weeks with my family or I'm building something cool and I'm in like head down mode, like writing a book. I want to get paid, and you deserve to get paid as well. So take it from me, my friend. There are a lot of fun trends and tactics out there, but business is a fundamental game. It's a game of fundamentals. It's understanding what actually makes it work. And the masters know this, right? And that's why they're so successful. And that's why you can be successful as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, comment below. Let me know which of these 5 growth levers do you need to pull? Which of these 5 strategies do you need to really press into? Like, what's the weak one for you that you're like, this is the one I got to press into? And what's one that you're doing really well? What's one that you've leveraged well? You're like, yeah, that's working really, really well for me. Let me know in a comment below. I read all the comments. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast app of choice, come interact with me on Instagram. Like, come message me at @TheGrahamCochran. That's the only other place I check and interact with people. I want to know what's resonating with you. I want to know that you listened to this episode and that it connected with you. And I want you to grow. Again, going back to my first point here about speaking to one person with one message, I want to help you, the online entrepreneur, make more money. Specifically, if you're not making $100,000 a month consistently yet, I want to get you to $100,000 a month consistently, working 20 hours a week or less. That is my hope for you. If you need help with that, come to the 10K offer challenge, come work with me, message me, join the VIP day, whatever you need, so I can serve you powerfully and get you to that level, because that's where you need to be. That's where I can help you. That's my sweet spot. I've done it multiple times over and helped clients do it as well. And I want to help you do it. Have a great day, though, in the meantime. Have fun. Have a great week. Go serve people powerfully. Think long term. Leverage these strategies. And I'll see you on another episode real soon.